Hello, everyone. Welcome to OracleAPEX training by Geeks. In today's session, I'm going to walk you through SQL Workshop options available in Apex Workspace. So let's get started. So once you log into Apex Workspace, the second main navigation option that you see would be a SQL Workshop that you see. And SQL Workshop again comes with a bunch of options. So let me give you a very high-level overview of each of these options that you see. And in future sessions, I'm going to deep dive into each of these options again. I'm going to make a separate video for each one of them. And yes, just in case you missed it in the previous series of sessions, we covered this app builder in depth. So just in case you missed it, you can go back and watch those sessions before you get started with SQL Workshop. So I'm logged into a SQL Workspace here, and we would be focusing on SQL Workshop options here. So the first option that you see under SQL Workshop is Object Browser. And with the help of this option, and when you click on it, it would basically show you all the database objects available in this particular workspace. And what comes under database objects? It can be a table, view, sequence, function, database link. So these are all the database objects that you could have within an Apex workspace. So in other words, this is what makes up a data layer in the Apex application build. So if you want to see what tables we have in the workspace, you just have to expand the tables and you can see what tables exist in the application here, or in this workspace, sorry, not the application. So yes, Object Browser would help you to see what objects exist in the application or exist in this workspace. And you can go into SQL commands, and that would open up a SQL worksheet. So if you want, this SQL commands, in this particular space, you can write either a SQL or a PL SQL logic, and you can execute it. So whether it is a DDL, a DML, or a DCL commands that you want to execute, whether you want to create, alter, truncate, drop, or table, whether you want to modify the data or whether you want to control the data. So all the commands can be executed from here. And we'll see this in a lot more detail in the coming sessions. And yes, after you write some SQL commands here, if you think that there is a need for you to save that script, probably you wrote some script or a set of queries that you want to rerun time and again, then you do have an option to save that as a script, SQL script, and that exactly would show up in the SQL scripts window. And if you go into utilities, you do have other options available here. Some people who start off with Apex development might not know SQL. So to help them, OracleAPEX has given a query builder option. You also have a quick SQL option as well, which we covered in one of the previous sessions. So if you don't know SQL, but you still want to create tables with columns with relationships between the tables, so all of it can be achieved quite easily by using Query Builder or Quick SQL if you don't know the actual Oracle SQL or PL SQL. And you also have an option to install sample data sets as well if you want to understand how the table structure or a data model needs to be defined. And you do have a RESTful services option here. So when you hit that button, it would take you to the ORDS options, the RESTful data services options. So whatever database objects that you have in this object browser, right? Whatever database objects that you have in this object browser, be it tables or views, right? So these database objects are available only in this Apex workspace. What if I want to access these database objects from a different Apex workspace or from a different application altogether? Maybe I want to update something in an Apex application from a different application, or I might want to access data from one Apex application in one workspace in a different application in a different workspace altogether. In all such scenarios, RESTful services would come handy. So we'll talk about this in a lot more detail in a different session. So to keep it simple, you can enable ORDS on the schema. Remember when we created this workspace, right? There was a schema created in the background. We can register this schema with ORDS. And what exactly ORDS means? It stands for Oracle REST Data Services. And with the help of ORDS, I can write SQL or PL/SQL logic. And on these database objects, whatever you have seen earlier, I can write SQL or PL/SQL logic on these database objects that we see. And I can expose them as REST APIs with the help of ORDS. Now, if I'm able to expose them as REST APIs, that's all I wanted, right? Because you can share that REST API, or you can invoke that REST API from any other application that you want. It could be another Apex application sitting in a different workspace, or it could be completely different application altogether. And apart from RESTful services, we do have SQL Developer Web as well. So if you click on SQL commands, it opens up a worksheet within the Apex screen itself. But here you won't have too many options available. It's just a kind of a plain SQL worksheet that you see here. But another more useful feature or a handy feature that you have is you can open this SQL Developer. Remember, SQL Developer is a tool that you can use to connect to Oracle databases. You have a desktop version as well. You can download it from Oracle site and install it. So a web version of that SQL Developer is plugged into your Apex workspace. So if I click on SQL Developer over web, it would, yes, for this to work, you need to enable ORDS. And we're going to do this in the next session, one of the next sessions. And after you enable ORDS, you would be able to launch SQL Developer over web, and you see a new tab opening up, and you would be able to see everything that you need to do a complex SQL or PL/SQL development. So these are all the options that you have got in this SQL workshop work area within Oracle Apex workspace screen. Okay, so those are the screenshots that I've given here. And if you're looking for a more, if you're looking for a full-fledged training on Oracle Apex, please do call us or send us a WhatsApp message on this number. We have a live training sessions conducted by an industry expert. Thank you.